Good evening, Crash Clinic. How are we, everyone there? The social network for independent vehicle repairers. It's Tuesday evening again. I know it goes faster every week, of course. Tonight, just wanted to say we've got the NBRA, of course, Chris Weeks, who's going to basically take the show for tonight and tell us all about the NBRA. So just before we do start, there has been a link that's been sent out that may be the wrong link. It actually brings you into the show. So if you have got that link and you find yourself trying to get into the show, you need to go to YouTube, LinkedIn, or Facebook, search for Crash Clinic, or we do have the link here. I'll post it for anybody who may need it. It should be easy to find once you search for Crash Clinic on either of the sites, YouTube or Crash TV for YouTube, LinkedIn, or Facebook, of course. So the link that you may have a link that's trying to get you into the show. It's not tonight. It's all about the NBRA. So unfortunately, you can't come into the show. So yeah, please try and find it on one or the other. Anyway, as I say, people can make a comment. Should be easy enough to find, and hopefully you'll find it there quick enough. Right, guys. Yeah, it's flown by again. Crash TV. I just wanted to say a couple of things, of course, before we start. Crash TV, Crash Clinic is all about the repairers coming together. I keep trying to push this to let people know how much this is about us coming together. It's about all of us joining forces, using our brains to make a difference in our industry. I did put out that there's going to be a meeting next Thursday. Unfortunately, a lot of people have come back and said, Daz, please change it, the date. We can't make it now. What I did, I put another couple of dates out. Turned out one was just before a show the week after. So I did decide to just try and stick to the date. Unfortunately, I've had about 15 or 16 people who've all commented that they are actually away. Can we change it? So it's leaving at the moment. We've only got 5 or 6 people that have sort of confirmed, although we had about 50 plus asking for this meeting. So I'm going to give it up till the sort of Friday, see how many come in. If there was 10 plus, I'd be happy to sort of meet. I think it'd still be a good start. Otherwise, I'm actually going to put it back to October, and I'm going to come back to a date in October to redo it, because there's 16 definites that want to come in on that meeting. So the more the merrier, of course. It's important for us all to get together and discuss all about this industry. Now, that being said, of course, the industry has lots of different people trying to do things, trying to make things better. And I think as independent repairers, we need to absorb that. We need to, join forces with these people that are doing so. And the idea of Crash Clinic is, once you've joined the website, this is for suppliers. This is for people who supply paints, materials, machinery, equipment. We've never had anywhere where we can find out stuff about this industry. You should also be joining Crash Clinic, because you can keep going on. It's a bit like Facebook or a YouTube, where it's private to just people from the accident repair industry. That means you're going to hit the correct people, the people you want to see. We also want to know about your latest equipment, your latest tools, your latest offers, but there's nowhere to really push those to us. So that's what Crash Clinic is about. So suppliers, it's really time you started joining. We've had a few people contact us this week about joining. And that's what it's all about, is sharing information massively. That's what we need. So without further ado, I'm going to bring in Christopher Weeks, of course, from the NBRA. And just going to share that screen, Chris. There we go. Welcome, Chris, to Crash Clinic.
How you doing, Darren?
I'm not too bad, thanks. Great to have you on, of course. Now, this is one of the things where I've just obviously been explaining. Crash Clinic is all about us sharing information, learning about the industry, whether it be offers, equipment. It's all about suppliers as well, not just a place to moan about what's going wrong with the industry. We're here to try and fix things. Moaning about it is telling us what's wrong, but the main cause of Crash Clinic is to try and help the industry get better. And what better way? Again, I've obviously met yourself, Chris. The NBRA, I've got to be honest, I haven't learned enough about it. So I personally want to know more about it, because obviously I've seen a few posts and stuff again over the last couple of weeks. And you guys are doing great stuff in the industry. You're trying to help this industry. Now, I don't know whether there's still people out there that should actually be joining, the NBRA. And again, I think it's time to sort of try and push what you're doing across the crash clinic, so other people know. I want to know, and I think it's going to be interesting tonight, of course, to find out more, which will be fantastic. Just going to say a couple of hellos there, Chris. We've got Martin Rowley. How are you doing, matey? Is that George Michael with you, Darren? It is. It is. Good looking bugger, isn't he? Right, we've got Ian Summers as well. There we go. I hope you've had a good week. All good, me mate. And obviously, we're back Tuesday night to learn more about the industry. So, Chris, tell me a little bit about what is the NBRA, because we all need to know, really. More and more of us need to know, because I think more and more we need to try and push more people to be joining and helping you.
Thanks for that, Darren. But you know what? So, I mean, there's been trade bodies around for a long time, hasn't there? I think, part of the NBRA was came from the VBRA years ago, and I think there's memorabilia in the office that go back to early 1900 and whatever.
No way! Wow. What was it called then?
So, and I think the VBRA were around for a long time as a trade body, and they were a bit of a sort of an Arthur Scargill type of approach, where they're always trying to beat the insurers up and everything else. And I've heard lots of stories back in the day about body shops trying to come together, trying to stand together as a unit. And I think we've all heard the stories about there's always someone that breaks rank, and they all and then people who did agree to things got upset. So that kind of entity of VBRA has been around a long time. And then there was another one called NAB. And then a lot of people remember MVRA, which was really huge at one stage. Especially because they had the MVRA standard. And that was at a time when the industry didn't have their own repair standard. So if any kind of company wanted to work with body shops that had a certain kind of standard, they would kind of insist that they work with the MVRA. But, over the years, all of those things have sort of had their day and moved along. And the RMI actually sort of scooped most of them up. The VBRA, NAB, MVRA. And about 6 years ago, they turned it into the NBRA, National Body Repair Association. Main reason for that was, when there's lots of trade bodies floating around, what tends to happen, and what's happened in the past, is they all start fighting each other. Everybody takes the eye off the ball. Everybody stops focusing on the important thing, which is repairers, and they start sort of infighting. So, luckily we are currently, I say it currently, the only trade body there is. We're not for profit, so we do take fees off our members, but we're lucky to break even. It's not what we're about. And I think, we haven't increased our fees for 7 years. Anybody that joins, we make a pledge to keep their fee the same, no matter what happens. We'll keep it that way in the future. We've got about 735 members in the body shop space. So you're saying, can we get more to join? Yeah, we'd like them to, but in reality, what I want is what you want. I want that community to really come together and really start talking, and really start to sort of help each other more. It's very difficult to get good engagement. I see you've got this Crash TV. You've got some various medium, and I've got to say, Darren, you're breaking boundaries with this. I think it's tremendous.
We're trying.
Which is what got me, what got me, caught my imagination with it, and what you're doing. I think it's tremendous. But yeah, we've got about 730 members. We've got about 88 members of the VBRA commercial, which is the same part. They do HGV repairs, and some of them are bodybuilders. Not like you, Darren. The muscly, no, not them ones. They're the people that put on truck bodies, and they do the refrigerated bits for the the Tesco deliveries and stuff like that. We sit under the Retail Motor Industry Federation, and within that, it's a bunch of motor associations. So there's the National Franchise Dealer Association, which is all the franchise dealers. We've got the Independent Garage Association, which is all the sort of smaller mechanical shops. NAMA, Petrol Retailers Association, and various others. We communicate with each other. So I'm the director of the NBRA, and there's predecessors or the others, we get on well and we communicate and we cross stuff over where possible, where we get opportunities. But one of the great things about it is we can have some shared services. So yes, we share insight across the different associations, but we have a press department. So we've got, I say department, we've got a couple of people that have got great relationships with the press, and that's the Broadsheet Times, the Telegraph, etc. If we really need it, we can. It's not, we don't do as much heavy press lobbying as, say, sort of franchise dealers and petrol retailers, for example, because they're more consumer facing. And like the petrol obviously was in the news recently for the tanker shortages and for hitting £2 a litre, unbelievably. We've got press, we've got policy, we've got links into government, we've got legal counsel. So those shared services are kind of there for us to lean on. NBRA itself is just a team of 7. There's myself, my colleague Michael Wicks, who does sort of business development, Tom Hudd, technical, Ant Barnes deals with a lot of the sort of technical projects, Dominique does the membership admin, Jerry Braddock does the VBRA piece and also plans our technical helpline. I'll talk to you a bit about that. Anna helps with comms and myself. So that's the sort of the inner piece of NBRA. But we've also got a board which is all made up of volunteers, board of 10. So we've got 6 of them come from the independent body shop world. That'd be Michael Reed, Leon Smith, Devin Kavanagh, Wayne Mason-Drust, who's on Joe Godfrey, who's a little titan, and Ian Summers, another titan, who's just joined the board. We've also got 4 representatives from body shop groups. Dave Sargent from Gemini, Lee McNaughton from High Street, Richard Thorogood, who was Rainbow now at Steer Group, and Steve Shaw, who does the sort of prestige stuff. So we meet 4 times a year. I'm kind of like the front of NBRA, but that's where we get everything agreed, and that's where I sort of take a fair bit of instruction from. So that's the way we're kind of set up. What are we there for? Well, really, I was
just going to say, there's a couple of things for me. I know you're doing some big things in the industry and stuff, but as a repairer, we'll just another couple of quicker lows. Martin Rowley's just said, defo join the NBRA. I'd recommend it. And fantastic. That's good. Matthew Cooper, how you doing? Dave Puntout, how are we? And Devin Kavanagh, how are we all? Thanks for joining in, of course. For me, it's a kind of, again, what is it that you're trying to, you do for the repairers, and where is it you're going, and what are you trying, what's the aim of the NBRA?
Big picture is about transforming the industry future, really. It's about making this industry one that everyone can be proud of. The people that work within it, not just the business owners, but the people that work in the business, the technicians, the front line, the drivers, something that we can really be proud of, recognised for the talent. And there is amazing talent in this industry.
Yeah, very much so.
You look at other roles out there in life. I paid 20 quid for a haircut. I know it looks dreadful, but it only took him 20 minutes. Yeah, I know. And this is just a guy with a pair of scissors. And you look at an MET guy and the training and the skills. Yeah. We need to move that up. And when people walk into a room at a party and and they say they work in the body shop industry, people need to be proud to say it, and people need to recognise the skills that are in it, because we are professionals. It is a very professional industry now. I don't know
if you've seen, there's a couple of weeks back where I keep harking on about it, that obviously I've been around for 33 years, and back then even we started in a small place and you didn't have much money for tools and equipment. And there's been a joke recently on LinkedIn where there's a guy wrapped around a wall and he's driving it, pulling the car. I really believe that many years ago, the industry was thought of kind of like that. Yeah. And there wasn't much equipment, let's be honest, there wasn't some great, it was all, I'm not going to call it all Fred in the shed, because there was, there was tools and machinery there, but the industry has kind of gone from that to, I think, very technical now, very computerized. And I think that's, for me, and this is my own opinion again, I believe that insurers still think of us in that realm. They still look at us as if we're stuck in that time warp, which we're not. And I think, I don't know, because they don't really visit, you know, these insurers don't come to repair centres and all that. They're just looking at papers and figures. The industry's completely changed, in my opinion, completely changed. And I think it's that, like you've said, the guys that work in it and the things people do with cars now is phenomenal. And I think what I'm trying to say there is, if I go back to 30 years ago, I can honestly say I thought my repair centre was very, very good. And there weren't many to touch it. That's my opinion from back then. Now, I believe the standard in general everybody has, because of machinery, equipment and all this, I think the whole industry's got, 100 times better. And I think, like you're just kind of saying there, the standards, we've come out of this sort of, Flintstone era, and we're into this very smart, computerized, very clever kind of industry now. And I just don't think we're being recognized for it. And when you think computer programmers earn a fortune,
I think, without debating it too much, I think insurers do realise how professional it is now. Most of them have been around, met, great repairers. They know how good it is and the skills involved, but they struggle to transform the kind of the rewards that are there for them. But that's a big part of it as well. We're there also to transform the body shop industry's profitability. I spend most of my time, lobbying with insurers, accident management companies, other industry bodies, talking up our industry, telling them, what is involved, the investment that's necessary, the risks that are attached to it, the issues, the struggles we have. I'm sort of the mouthpiece most of the time. And I'm glad I've got a little bit of support with me now, Darren. As many people as possible, all saying the same.
Of course.
But, of course, we would like to bring as many body shops into membership as possible. We have proven in times gone by that, when we can be united on issues that really do bother our members, we can get traction, and we do get, we've made big organisations move in the past. So, so that's got to be key as well. In terms of what you get,
I noticed something recently in the last couple of, it was in the last couple of days, to be fair, where I think you'd put a post on where you'd been talking to an insurer, trying to get something organised or settled or sorted, and you were struggling, and you managed to get it sorted. Now, over the years, again, I was a member of the NBRA. I think I joined the VBRA early on and then ditched straight back out. I joined the NBRA for a little while. But these they offered to do different things. They all offered to help you with legal stuff, with insurers, with problems. This is what I'm sort of getting. I read that and I thought, wow, I don't know what it is you've done. But again, what help is it for repairers? Because that's where a little bit of substance for you guys to say, well, actually, if you've got a problem with an insurer, we'll get involved and try and help it. If there's little things I'm looking to sort of say to repairers, what is it you guys do to sort of...
Yeah, so let's start with that bit. Let's start with that bit. So we do get lots of issues that come to us from our members. And, they don't get them every day, but they do get them. And they can come in all sorts of forms. We have built tremendous relationships with all of the insurers, accident management companies, and at different levels, at director level, at network manager level, etc., etc. I or my team can normally pick up the phone to an insurer or whatever and get an issue sorted out amicably. Yeah. Sometimes it doesn't work that way, and we move to social media. But even then, we will keep a back channel going, saying, look, we're not going to blow you apart on social media because we don't want to burn the bridges that we've built. But, we nearly had to do that this week. And we gave an insurer 24 hours to sort it out. And they did sort it out. They've kind of dealt with a problem that was, it was going to cost a repair of 17 grand and about 6 months of lease. And they finally dealt with it before we had to But you know, that's so. As part of their membership, they do get legal advice. They get free legal advice from motor industry legal services, who specialise in the motor trade stuff. So they lots of stuff goes through there.
Now, is that legal advice in anything to do with the business, or is that to do with the fight against an insurer, or is it kind of, you know,
most things, but all sorts of things, and they'll typically give you advice if it needs to, like, proper legal action. If it goes that far, then you know you might have to pay them. But as far as advice goes, they give lots of advice out. You name it, they're buying and selling, issues with insurers, contracts,
customers trying to have you over for something, that kind of.
Yeah. So there's all that. HR toolkit we've got online, HR advice again through meals, health and safety advice, you know, fully NEBOSH qualified support, and the sort of direct access kind of thing. You know, we've got member advice, so you can call us. There's a chat on our website. If you need advice, we've nearly always got a solution of one kind or another. If you have issues with consumers, you know, you just can't resolve it, there's an independent conciliation service as part of membership, you know, so we don't deal with that. It's independently resolved. We also have VM repair methods as well. So if you need methods, this is a slight upsell, that one, methods, but we've got VM methods. So it's not, you know, reconstituted ones, that they're actually the VM methods. They're body methods, mechanical, electrical, and we've got a technical help desk that backs it up.
Right.
It didn't have all the VMs on it. It's getting more and more. We've just had Toyota and Lexus and one other added this week. So that's working really well. We've got a debt recovery service, which a lot of people don't know about. Zero commission, of course.
Yeah.
I think we've recovered something like 2.4 million in the space of the last 2 or 3 years.
No, is that off insurance, or is that off private, like individuals, or where does that go? Is that right? Fantastic. Okay.
Anything, you know, it could be accident management companies, it could be insurers. I mean, the insurers through COVID got really, really good at dealing with debt, actually, but it's the accident management companies that tend to be a bit of a difficulty. We had one, well, we've had a couple actually that have become recurrent problems, and we actually put a survey out about sort of payments, you know, payment speed, really in an effort just to highlight the one or two that we knew was a problem, but we just didn't want to pick on them individually. But yeah, you know, we can still pick up the phone and deal with those at a macro level if any of the accident management companies start to become a real pain.
Yep.
So we've done that. So the debt recovery service, lots of people don't know it's there, you know, and they do use it. And oh, that's handy. Even some of the big groups we've helped. We also do a bit of contract checking as well. It's not something that we've got online, but if people want to compare and contrast the contracts that they've got, we can normally help them work out if they should do more of one, less of another, or whether one of them, you know, it just isn't making them any money at all. So that's useful. But then we do the whole kind of lobbying thing as well. So this isn't necessarily for the individual, but we do parliamentary lobbying where necessary. I'll come on to a bit more about what we have actually done. We sit on lots of industry steering groups. So, you know, I'm just there, or my colleagues are there, just to make sure that, you know, we're being represented properly as an industry. And where we see, you know, we might end up losing out or it costing money for body shops, you know, we're jumping in there and fighting the corner.
Well, that to me is something that I think this is where a chap phoned me at the end of last week, and he said, I haven't joined Crash Clinic just yet. He said, I'm going to join it. He said, but I've just been so busy. He said, but I also want to contribute something else. He said, because I understand what you're trying to do in the background, and I understand that you need help. Now, it was quite pleasing to realise that somebody understood what goes on in the background, because this is what I'm trying to highlight for you, some of the services you do. But there's also a section where we're all coming together to be paying in, that you're doing stuff in the background that's probably more important than all the little services, because that's trying to maintain a relationship between us all. And that's kind of a hidden gem, if you know what I mean, where I'm trying to say to people that, you know, even with myself, it is, we're all trying to do stuff in the background that's not there on the front of it. So you guys are doing something that's invaluable to us all because you're there, like you say, parliamentary. So if there's an issue that's, you know, heavy in our industry, who's going to look after that? Nobody. And this is what I'm saying. Everyone needs to get together more so now. I was actually going to ask you at the start when you said there's only you now because there's no other trade bodies. I was like, wow, yeah. So there is only you. And I think people should be getting behind that to help. And a big part of it is trying to let people's mentality understand that what you're doing behind the scenes is actually fantastic, as well as what are the services you've got. So I think that's something people need to, you know,
I mean, we're kind of working for the whole industry, whether you're a member or not. You know, we're working for the whole industry, and we represent the whole industry. We've helped out loads of body shops that aren't members. You know, obviously, I'd rather they sort of help contribute and keep us going. But you know, we had a really big issue recently, and we helped one group out twice significantly. You know, to the tune that it benefited them. Probably hundreds of thousands, actually.
Wow, yeah.
And I really had to say, you know, are you going to join us? You know, and it wasn't a lot of money, but for a really big group, you know, I said it works out per site about the equivalent of, you know, a box of Kentucky per week. And he was like, oh, go on then. But yeah, it does take some cajoling sometimes.
But we need to understand as well, it's all free really, because it comes off your tax bill. So whatever we're paying you for a membership is going to be free. So it's not going to cost anyone, which is mental. I'm just going to put another couple of people have come in and said, Renee Rogers, really glad I've caught this live. Great to have you on, of course. Devin Kavanagh again. The NBRA is a mediator between the insurers and the repair community. It's a really tough place to sit and keeps all sides happy. Yes, a very tough place to sit. Wayne Mason's Rust on the other week. Hope you're well, matey. Obviously, another part. Is he board member of the NBRA, I believe? Yes, is that right? Got it right. Mike Monaghan, that catalyst started in 1990 by the NBRA for quality standards.
It's our spiritual grandfather. He's not much older than me, actually, but he's the spiritual grandfather of the trade bodies.
So he was a big part of the NBRA, of course. And now that's for a fact, as I have the evidence to prove it. Obviously, Mike is somebody I need to catch up with myself. Got a lot of knowledge there as well. Trade bodies help many times in many ways. But get like recognition because everyone wants utopia. But yeah, it's he's got a lot of knowledge and somebody that's worth.
He certainly has. He certainly has.
Yeah, very much so. Wayne, there is a lot the NBRA have done for members, but due to confidentiality, it cannot publish individual wins. Of course. Teddy Swann, how you doing? Nice to have you in again. Tracy Wixon, are all the services you just outlined included in the membership, or are there additional charges for debt recovery, etc.? Good question.
No, they're all part of membership, with the exception of the methods. So the methods is the VM methods is a bit of an extra, but it's actually almost half the cost of anything else. If you buy it in membership, it's very, very, very cheap.
So and your membership includes most.
Yeah, it's so important to have methods now. It really is. You know, you can easily miss it, and they're worth their weight in gold. If you go through them, you find out all the options, all the methodologies, and all the things that you need to do on the repair. Yeah. They just go into the estimate, and you get more money.
Can't be questioned, then, can you? So, yeah, no, it's you're very, very right there. I mean, carry on.
Good example of where we sort of really came into our own, I think, was COVID. You know, some people say we did help, and some say it didn't, but in reality, we did tons. You know, so when everyone else in my family was sunbathing in the garden, I was sitting on webinars like this and churning out emails and talking to government at time to time. But we were on I Love Claims most week. We did all sorts of things like Corona calculators. You know, do you stay open or not? We got the government to accept that you were retail, so you could stay open and you could get the rates relief. You know, we agreed there was an essential services. We lobbied the Scottish government. We published a Corona rates guide because we recognised that doing less work, you had to charge more to break even. We did loads of work on that, and we shared that with members. Same with Aldatex at the time, you know, because Aldatex was kind of like a fixed cost and you were doing less, and because of the way it was constructed, we pushed hard on that and we got some relief for members. And also importantly, and I'm quite proud of this, you know, lots of body shops at the time said, look, sorry, we just can't afford to pay you. So we just suspended all their payments. And you know, we never got it back again. We never asked for it back again. You know, it was probably 50 members. We never took any money off for however long that was, which hurt us a bit. But that's the point of it, you know.
That's standing together, isn't it? And what you've done there, it's not just helped your members, it actually helped the industry again. And this is what I'm saying. These are the kind of hidden things that you need help with, to be fair. If we've only got one trade body now, I think, you know, people need to understand exactly what you're doing and try and help for it again. Mike Monaghan says, thanks for that, Chris.
Credit where it's due, Mike. Credit where it's due.
Evening, Chris. And Brett, sorry, mate, you just saying all these people coming in. Fantastic to have them listening in.
Boom, boom, boom. They've all found the right link.
That's it. Finally.
After the decoy, I sent them on. I sent them all on a wild goose chase. But yeah, so we also do stuff with the press. We don't do tons and tons of it, but when we need to, we did. You know, like when we started to get massive delays in the industry, we managed to get that in the Daily Mail. You know, because we wanted the public to know that it's not a failing body shop industry. You know, it was all of the other stuff that goes around it that was causing delays in body shop world. But we do sort of thought leadership stuff. Yeah, exactly.
Body shops get the brunt of it. Where's my car? Why is it taking so long? And why are you? And it's as if we've had a couple of people shout at us like it's our fault, and you know, they don't trust us. They've even phoned up the dealerships. It's like, wow. But
I mean, we put stuff out for our members in order for them to put on their websites, explain from the NBRA, explain to their customers, you know, that most of the problems are outside of the industry control. You know, and thought leadership stuff in Modern Insurance Post, Body Shop Mag, and you know, and that's not just me, Wayne. You know, the whole board will contribute to those sort of things. And then we've got the sort of the lobbying of government. You know, so during COVID, we lobbied the Chancellor to extend the furlough scheme for body shops, which they did do. I'm not claiming the benefit, you know, I'm not claiming that one, but at the end of the day, you know, it was another little thorn in their side. We've input into the government's mobility strategy, you know, on behalf of our industry. No one else is going to do all that stuff unless we do it. Recently wrote to the Chancellor and the Trade Secretary about the energy problem that we've got now, you know, and sort of saying that body shops need subsidy like customers do. And again, they have done something, you know, we weren't the only one. There was the retail industry and everything else. We've written to government petitions about skills shortage. So load of stuff on that space as well. And we're always ready to take on another sort of political challenge if we need to.
Well, this is what I'm saying. It's without people like you, there's no one actually doing anything for us. So it's and again, in all the other trades, it's people like you that are all coming together to do this that are making a massive impact. And these are the things that I think people are sort of missing, that don't understand what's going on in the background. And again, that's hence why you know, it's great to have you on board telling people. It's
fantastic. I love any opportunity to go and do something like this. You know, if it's a conference or whatever, we come to the conclusion we need to do a written update to our members, a good old-fashioned newsletter, because you know a lot of the channels just aren't getting through really. But how
do you influence? How do you?
Well, we've got various approaches to it. So regular e-shots through emails to members, but of course a lot of them go in the junk, and you know, people are busy, aren't they? They're flat out. They haven't got time.
Very.
There's a weekly newsletter that goes out electronically on a Friday. Obviously, stuff's on the website. We do quite a lot of webinars. We've tried to do regional meetings, you know, reinvigorate that. But it's like you said at the start, you know, people take time out of their businesses at the moment is so hard. It really is. They're so busy.
The main reason, people, is that I put this on at 7 o'clock is because I actually thought I'm not going to get many people if I do it in the day, because like you said, we're all so busy. And I think it's proven, you know, it works. It's because people do tune in, which is fantastic. Appreciate everybody doing that. And I tried to take an extra level. So again, this is me. I'm slightly different to yourself, of course, because I'm trying to bring a site where people learn about everything and connect, which is you know, we've got similar goals, but you're obviously a trade body, which is very important in our industry, of course. For the website I've created, I want people like yourself, I want suppliers, I want everybody on it to sort of a one-stop shop for everything to do with the trade. Now, I tried to pull a meeting, and probably my own fault for doing it a couple of weeks short. A lot of interest. I have to say, I just said at the start of this, there was over 50 odd people. I did go through it to count. All come back. Fantastic idea. Really important. Love to, you know, great idea. So I then actually put a date out. I might have put it out a little bit short of Kate. But to get them to get together, I mean, I'm not going to knock anyone out that is listening who obviously messaged me and said, sorry, Dad, I'm away. And there was a lot. So maybe I got the date wrong, but pulling people together from, it probably went from more 55, 57 people commented back and said, let's do this. About 20 to 25 actually came forward and said, sorry, I can't make this one, but would like to. So it was over half. So I thought a lot of people are saying, you know, I want to do this and I want to, but so your job is extremely hard. So again, I'm going to keep trying to voice, because I thought about it myself after having Wayne on, speaking to yourselves, of course, a lot. There's only one trade body. And that's real. I think it's really important for our industry and really important for us repairers to, you know, the more I've thought about it, very important.
Let's support each other, you know, support each other. At the end of the day, it's, you know, we want to get people in the room when we can. You know, we want to communicate to the industry. Our messages ain't going to be far different.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, if you're in the industry, you know the issues, and we're going to be pushing in the same direction. So the more the merrier, I think.
Yeah.
But we do a lot of, you know, just in terms of the lobbying stuff, we do a lot with insurers and accident management companies as well. So, you know, in this year, we've done 32 insurer one-to-one discussions. And we do some group ones, but I also try and pick them off one-to-one in webinars as often as possible, going for a whole range of stuff. We do quarterly market updates to about, I think it's about 88 now, different contacts, senior contacts in the industry.
Yeah.
Because a lot of them don't really know the issues that we face. They don't quite understand it. And, you know, we often get messages back saying, you know, that's really been helpful. I used your paper in a board meeting in order to negotiate this, because sometimes people running networks, you know, it sounds like they're making excuses when they can't get stuff done. But it's not their fault. It's, you know, it's the whole industry. So,
do you have short-term goals and long-term goals, Chris, or do you have kind of, is there any?
Yeah, I mean, so the long-term things are the big sort of moving, you know, the big movement things. So we're constantly lobbying around contractual terms and rates. You know, I say that £35. We talk about hourly rates. There's a lot more to it. It's really about profitability and gross profit. But you know, people can
I thought you said £35.
Yeah, well, you know, it's like, but someone, you know, there've been increases to 35 quid, and they all of a sudden they think, oh, great, well, we'll get our keys to keys back now, and you know, booking dates will be tomorrow. No, it's just a ticket to the game now. You know, really, it needs to be 40, 42s up to 45s. You know, we do a ton of lobbying around that, and we're in a quite a lucky position at the moment that, you know, industry people would call it a capacity crisis. I don't think it's a crisis at all. Not in that respect. Yes, demand is outstripping supply, but thank God in a way, because it's the lever I think the industry has needed.
Yeah, very much.
To really sort of push on. So I've done a lot of lobbying. I know, like the Vision have, and lots of different accident management companies are lobbying the insurers to move. And they are, you know, it is all moving. It's all going in the right direction at the moment. And I haven't seen it move like this for a long, long time.
Of course, yeah.
And I think it's going to move a lot more because we're moving into the winter period, and I just think we've been pushing. It's been like a snowplow pushing a load of work forwards, more and more, and it's building up at the top. And I think, you know, there's a lot of discussions going on in the background at the moment saying, right, where have we got to go to guarantee some capacity for the future? There's
a few things there that, for me, the capacity, I think this winter is really going to hit us hard. And I think it's going to take something like that to actually really make insurers want to talk and do more. But there's still a lot of, I mean, I obviously portrayed to look after the individual, you know, body shops, where there's a lot of groups, of course, and there's a lot of people sort of say the groups are becoming a big part of the problem. us sort of smaller guys have got to stand together, but then you've got as the independents, the groups. If we're doing one thing and the groups are doing another, that to me is always going to have a bit of a problem. And
let me dispel that myth.
You're speaking to both.
Dispel that myth.
Yeah.
Right. So I've heard this sort of thing quite a few times. So do groups work for less? Yeah, because they're high volume, lower margin. Okay, and it's no different to, you know, the guy on the corner shop selling baked beans for, you know, £1, and Tesco's selling it for like 25 pence. That's the reality of it. You know, higher volume is lower margin. But you know, when I read things like, you know, this certain group have agreed this pounds per hour deal, it's rubbish. Right, let me tell you. So every single one of those groups, they've only got so many repairs to sell. They've only got so many hours, and they want to get as much money as they possibly can for them. And they will try their hardest to get as much money as they possibly can. So when you read stuff on the internet from somebody you don't necessarily know that's saying, oh, they've done a deal for this, you know, it brings the industry down. And then insurers will contact them and say, oh, have you done a deal for that much money? Why haven't we got a deal for that? So we need to talk the industry up. So, you know, but the thing is, you know, groups get work referred to them. They get all of it referred to them. Independent, smaller guys, you know, they have to fight for their work, and they have to, you know, advertise, and of course they've got to pay more. They've got to charge more. And if an insurance job walks in through the door, of course they're going to charge more, you know, because it came to them. It wasn't referred to them. So, you know, yes, there are some differentials in there. But let me tell you, you know, from my board with 4 groups and 6 and everybody we speak to, there's nobody selling our industry short. Not right now, not while there's a capacity problem.
I was going to say, I would have thought so. I'd be mad to, wouldn't he?
Yeah. So,
we've got something
going
on.
We're always trying to push it forward, and you know, it's things like we talked to them about courtesy cars, you know, removing that or getting payments for it, contractual changes. Yeah, a big thing for me is mobility and paying. You know, body shops still paying for mobility. It just drives me mad. And the frightening thing is seeing body shops investing in, you know, and I won't call anybody out in the audience there. Well, he's invested in EV courtesy cars because we're making a rod for our own back. Never ever do it, please, because I'm telling the insurers, EV is the break point, is the catalyst, is the bit where we no longer own that cost in our business. It has to go over to the insurer, the carrier, to sell it as an upsell. You know, so the backstop for me is EV. we can't go down that route.
No, very much. Courtesy cars, like you said, at a crazy cost. And again, why have repairers borne that? It just seems to be something that's just gone on for decades and seems to be the norm, doesn't it? Which is again another.
It does. Yeah, it's a problem we made ourselves. and it served the purpose at the time. But I think now, you know, body shop owners, they've got enough on their plate without being rental companies as well.
My biggest hate with courtesy cars is the fact that an insurer, now that's what they do insurance. I've got the cheek, and this absolutely blows my mind if I'm totally honest. Car is one thing. They actually try to put the insurance part of it onto you, which I think is an absolute Mickey take. Any insurer doing that to me should be ashamed. They offload the insurance. We want you to supply a car that we tell the world we supply the cars, and we actually want you to put it on your own insurance and take the risk of that car. They sell insurance, but they want us to take the risk of a courtesy car being out on the road as well. And I think that is absolutely blows my mind, to be honest. So it's, I mean, that's, I'll probably get hated for that, but there you go. I think it really does blow my mind.
And you know what? Just going back to that sort of group independent type thing, we are helping each other, right? So when independent body shops, you know, push their rates up for insurers, and it looks more and more ugly, that helps the groups. But of course, the groups in their bulk and size, as they move the industry up, again, it helps the independents. Yeah, we do, you know, the industry, no matter how big you are, we can all help each other. We just need to hold firm. And, you know, it's when we get these big contracts that come out, and people will know about some big contracts that are moving around in the industry, huge ones. Right. It's times like that where we really have to be brave. So, yes, it looks nice to, you know, to win some capacity. There's no shortage of work at the moment.
No,
so when work is moving around, you know, and NBRA are going to be making a real effort as any big contracts are moving around to kind of be messaging out to our members and the whole industry, actually, to say, don't go lower than this. Don't go lower. You know, be firm, be strong, and then everybody will stand with it.
Yeah, I mean, this is something I'm going to point out, because the fact of, I'm probably next week going to try and do a little bit on Crash Clinic, because when people join Crash Clinic, it's like it's very much a LinkedIn, it's very much a Facebook, but it's behind closed doors. Now, that's for a reason. That's because there's a lot of people in our industry don't like to speak out because they're scared of insurer. I get all that stuff. But on Crash Clinic, we can talk openly and properly. And we can even like stuff like that where, you know, don't sell our industry short, because, you know, but you don't want that kind of stuff being all over the internet and all over everywhere else. The idea of Crash Clinic, I spent a lot of time making sure it's solely for us. And you can start groups which you can control, and you can lock that out. So only if you want to talk about a sensitive issue, you can lock that down. So only you allow the people in that you want in to talk about it. So the site has got a lot of benefits, which I'm going to try and push over the next few weeks as well, to sort of, like you say, selling short. We're coming together.
I mean,
it's so important.
Yeah, we haven't got a great comms piece like that. So, you know, let's point people to it and let's get some debate going on there. I'm all for it.
Of course. Let's go through a few messages. Mike Mann said the US trade bodies are powerful and influential because the repairer member numbers are substantial. The UK represents less than 20%, and that's an issue when challenging powerhouses. Agree with that, but that's where what we were just saying. We've got to get every repairer to come together. And all I could think of was Crash Clinic as a social media site just for us, nobody else. That's the aim of it. Again, it's for all of us. It's just something I thought that would help to pull us together. Paul Cunningham, nice to see you again, buddy. Chris, if you could double your membership, how much more could you do for the industry? Obviously, you're doing great stuff, and presumably you could do more with funding. Exactly, that's why I've got you on and talking about it. Because that,
you know, we get more leverage the bigger we are. You know, the bigger we are, the stronger we are. But also, you know, if we did have more funding, we could deliver a lot more technological support, on the ground support and stuff like that. You know, I just don't want to put rates up or anything like that. And you know, we're very cheap compared to some sort of things, some sort of offerings that are floating around. But maybe we should, you know, and there's different things that we've been sort of booting around. What could we do for the industry? Because you know, if we had more resources, because really we are still an undervalued industry, massively so.
Unbelievable.
You know, and when you start fiddling around with the numbers in terms of sort of, you know, gross profit for body shops, you know, small changes could make, you know, it is sizable. So yeah, we do need to sort of think about what could we do if. I agree with that.
Very much so, yeah. Martin Rowley, Paul Cunningham, or Paul, what if there was one membership fee that included NBRA, ABP, the Ben charity, the benefits that all three would maybe deliver? Might be endless. Could be. Everything's worth discussing, of course, but then could it push it too big? Where does all that money divide? Don't know. But yeah, again, this is what Crash Clinic's all about, is people coming in and coming up with ideas that we can work together to try and fix things. That's ultimately what it's all about. But Mike Monaghan says, Martin Riley, good luck with that one, Martin. I'll not hold my breath. And here we go, little row. Yeah, Mike Monaghan. Oh, well, I tried. Exactly. You've got to open your mouth to sort of try and get things moving. Paul Cunningham says, not like you to be defeated, Mike. Oh, gosh. Realist, Paul. Here we go. Absolute fact, Chris. Perception versus reality. David Sargent, David Sargent, nice to see you in. You don't see the groups moaning about the independent shops, do you? I like that. There we go. Don't start an argument, David. Paul Cunningham, I know, mate.
Always ready for it.
Yeah, it's such a shame our industry can't pull together. Well, this is what we're trying, Paul, of course. That's the reasons we're doing that. There is a few of us trying to do that. I think Teddy was on about the courtesy car thing where I thought that was terrible. David Sargent, don't forget groups started off as single independent sites. Everyone can make a difference and decide for themselves which deals they want to do at any time. You need to decide what you want to happen to the industry. Very much there, David. Now, there's something that I sort of think with the difference, just because you're a group and just because you're independent, like you've just said there, Chris, there is so much work. The only difference that's made really is what the insurer makes the difference with us by allowing doubling excesses and doing all. That's where the kind of that friction comes from, because they cause it really. Because if there wasn't this, there's enough work for everybody, and I know there's a lot of customers try and get the car booked in. If they can't get it booked in this week, they should have the right to go and use somebody else. And I think, and that's these groups are still full. There's multiple sites, but I think that's everyone's got their own.
I mean, that's one of those subjects actually that the large and the small, or the people that get insurance referred work, and there's a bit of a difference of opinion over. But I think we could all agree, and I've said it publicly, and I've put it out on social media and everything else. Certainly, right now, when there's an excess of work, there's too much demand on the industry. Absolutely, double excesses and all that sort of stuff definitely shouldn't be there. I don't know how you can defend it at the moment. If a customer of yours is looking at sort of mid-November to get a car repaired, and somebody else can do it next week, it's ludicrous. It's absolutely disgraceful. And I think in any instances like that where a body shop is stuck, we will help. Tim Kelly has done some amazing work. With support.
Great guy.
Sometimes the consumers don't want to do it themselves, but that guy, he can be a bit of a pain at times for insurers, and but by me, he did not put some effort in, and I think he does deserve some recognition for that.
He does, yeah. He's got a lot of help for repairers, can't he?
But yeah, situations like that, we'd help. And we'll jump in. So if anyone is having an issue in that sort of instance, it just doesn't make sense. Normally, as long as they don't change it as a policy, insurers will go, yeah, okay, fair enough, to keep it, to keep it going.
Matthew Cooper says Crash Clinic and NBRA. Well, he's got the slightly right. NBRA work together under one umbrella. Well, obviously we're talking, and we're, the aim is it'd be lovely to we're on the same path, we're on the same wavelength. So I'm pretty sure we'll be trying to, help each other along the way, which is where we're going. It's like I keep saying, we're in this together. So there's no point fighting. There's no point. And with the insurers, to be fair, there'll always be a bit of, argy-bargy, but predominantly if we're all together, I think we've got very similar, things to do. You're a trade body which can do government sides. I'm trying to just get everyone in one place that to bring more people, together. And I think everybody wants that, if I'm honest. We've just got to somehow find a way of pulling us all together, because there's a lot of clever people in the industry, and talking is the biggest thing you need to do to fix things.
So, but I mean, of course, there's a hell of a lot of issues currently sort of floating around the market, isn't there?
Of course.
I mean, in the time I've been here, and in fact, in all the time I've been involved in repair, which is the last 25 years, I don't think there's ever been a time where so much has been flying in from different corners.
Yeah, very much.
You know, COVID was bad, but with the coronavirus job retention scheme or furlough, you know, and there was the C-bills, loans, everything else, it kind of got people through. But you know, we're staring down the barrel of massive energy cost increases.
Yeah.
You know, there's loads of examples. Some examples where people have seen 800% increase, but I guess they were
unbelievable, isn't it?
On a really low tariff before. But typically, you know, 300%, not uncommon. And for an average kind of body shop, you know, you're talking 130 grand odd, which is enormous amount of money. Yeah,
it's outrageous.
So
someone's got to pay for it ultimately from somewhere, haven't they? So,
you know, I mean, is it the insurance company's fault? No, it isn't. But you know, we need help somewhere, and they can put their prices up. We can't. So you know, we've been sort of lobbying for that, and we're not the only people. You know, Chris Mackay, Ian Pugh, everybody's been pushing. And there's been lots of increases, 50s, £100, but I think, you know, we're sort of headed towards a kind of 80, 180 pound a job kind of space. Once all these increases come in through October, and you know, that needs to be met, because body shops can't suck that up.
Well, yeah, exactly. Madness. Gary Chew, Gary Shoes, have you thought about marketing support, education resource? Happy to help. Lots of work out there. I've seen a lot that Gary's doing. Again, I'll probably get in contact with you, Gary, there as well. Something to discuss. Anything that can help.
Oh, possibly, Gary. Thanks.
Is needed. Yeah, Monaghan. The key, as Chris mentioned, the contract creep over the years created the normal, but we're no longer in normal times. Insurers must accept the holiday years they've had, and now it must be their cost, not the accident repair centres. Well, I think, like you say, this winter's going to have some massive changes. Here's Paul straight away. 600%. I think that must be his gas and electric has gone up, which is it's not fair for anybody shop, is it, or any company, any business. It's just outrageous. Matthew Cooper says wages have increased as well. It's not just energy. It's true, because what people seem to miss is we're getting that cost, but so are our staff. So is every single person, and that's making individuals need more money. So that everything's just going crazily out of proportion. We're not alone on that, of course, because that's just you know, a lot of different industries as well, which is crazy. But like you say, things it's frightening, isn't it, what's coming, to be honest. We've got to make things change somehow. We've got to work together. Kate Goodwin has just come in and said, Chris, have you had time to review the government announcement reference energy support yet? I am trying to, but it's vague. Any insight would be helpful. Again, fantastic. Thanks for coming in, Kate, and talking. This is what it's all about. Sharing information, trying to help each other.
So I mean, you know, that's a major concern. I think it's a huge concern. Mobility obviously is also, you know, a major one for body shops. We've kind of talked about it, but again, you know, the costs are going spiraling. You know, what was £130 a month is now more like 250. Massive waits for courtesy cars as well, and you know, extended repair durations for all the other reasons. You know, parts delays, staff shortages, and all those other things. I honestly think, you know, courtesy cars are probably costing about £300 per job now. You know, because of the length of time they're out for and everything else. Yeah.
There's been things over the years where people have tried to put a cost and a price to a courtesy car. And I've always gone balmy about it, because even over the years, people have said, oh, it's only 10 quid a day. But I'm like, no, it's not. You've got the cost of checking it in, looking it in, filling it up with petrol in and out as it's going off to people, the damage. And the big thing for me, I'm going to say it again, is that insurance thing just drives me crazy, which is There's little things I really believe insurers could look at. Like you say, a lot of little things can help us. And I think that is something they could do imminently. And there should not be any insurance put onto our own, because let's face it, if one crash is absorbed on our, I mean, I've had it now. I've had a car 6 weeks ago. It's out on a customer's job. The car was stolen. It was involved in something we don't even know yet, but they won't tell us, the police. They've still got the car because of this. Now, I'm absolutely outraged. Okay, unfortunately, something bad's happened, but that's my car. And I've got a car off the road that I'm funding. Yeah. Luckily, on this occasion, it was insured by the customer. Now, if it hadn't have been, that would have been the cost to me would have been ridiculous. It is to me anyway, because I've lost a car. I need to book work in, and I don't know when that car's coming back. I don't know the condition of it. I don't know. But it's me that's at the loss, not the insurer, not the customer.
It's always the way, you know, every significant change that hits the industry, be it parts, Brexit, COVID, people, you know, it always hits the repairer first. Any kind of change, they have to suck up the pain. Now, the insurers do respond. If you take COVID as an example, you know, they did respond, and with energy there was, but there's always a big delay. And there's always like a 4-6 month period where body shops lose out. Then they might come back again. And, you know, it's massively frustrating. But it's kind of the nature of the beast. We need to move up to a different level of profitability, accepting that we will get these challenges. And we'll go, okay, we can soak them up for a couple of months because we've been at this level, not that level. But you know, it's been too tight for too long, really.
It's still happening now, isn't it? When did the gas and electrics go up? Because it's still going up. There's still problems. There's still everything's. The world hasn't settled yet. And you know, how much have our costs gone up in this last, let's say, from February? Not a lot.
Yeah, it makes me laugh. Really. I mean, it's you know, if you think about risk, you know, you think about insurers, but to me, body shops are in more of a risk business than anyone else. You know, they literally, you've got to give a courtesy car to someone you can't vet. Yeah. You don't know what they're like. You don't know what they're going to do with it. You know, you haven't been able to put them through a test about what kind of person they are. You give someone a car and non-drivable, you don't know whether the parts are going to turn up.
I'll give you a laugh. This is an honest conversation we had in the last 6 weeks. We actually were thinking about, you know, you used to have a little sticker that went on the dash saying no smoking. What we found, the biggest problem that we've had, again, this is all our cost. And I don't even know if I should say it now, but I'm going to. We found that people who are smoking weed, the little elements for some reason are different to a cigarette, and they float around the car and they put little burn marks all over the car. And it has to go out to a couple of customers, and the seats are wrecked, the dash is wrecked, the carpets are wrecked, and the smell of the car. And we even contemplated getting a sticker with a spliff on it saying no smoking these whatsoever, because the cost again when it comes back, we've got something now called a smoke bomb. They're not cheap. They're not just a quick valet, just to get rid of that smell. Because we have had, when you've had a rush job, car come back, gone out to a customer, and a customer said, "Whoa, I'm not going in that car." And we're like, "What? You go and put your head in." You think, and sometimes you can't judge who's gonna smoke that and who's not gonna. You know, it's horrible, really.
Now we can add that to the long list of industry issues. Now, I mean, you've just discovered a new one. Everybody was feeling depressed anyway, and now they got to worry about weed in their cars.
I'll tell you what. I bet you now, there's not one body shop who hasn't faced that. I bet you that now. And it is for us, we actually contemplated having a sticker made because it causes more damage and more problems than a normal cigarette. A cigarette, you can open the windows, smell's gone. Although we banned that as well, but then bloody spliffs cause an absolute nightmare. So obviously we've got lots of big issues, and I have also seen something that popped up recently. Now I don't know, is NBRA out to be a work provider? Is that going to be a part of a future service? Don't know.
No.
No.
So we made a conscious decision a long time ago as a board not to become a work provider, because I think when you do, it's very tempting actually to go and do it, and we've had lots of opportunities to go and do it. But I think when you do that, you kind of blur the lines between trade body and everyone else. You know, I never want to get to the point where body shops are complaining about work that was provided to them by the NBRA. We are impartial, and that's the beauty, and that's the kind of the thing I love about the NBRA actually, and being in the trade body is we can't be pushed around by anyone, we can't be bought off by anyone. So and we don't have to make compromises because we're getting work from someone, so we can't speak to them in a certain way. But exceptional repair, if that's what you mean, it came about really lots of conversations with insurers, say the one-to-ones, and they're all talking about capacity and concerns about capacity and stuff like that, and issues that they're having. And I know there's a lot of NBRA members that have got capacity. They might not do lots of work for insurance companies or accident management companies, but they have got capacity, and they can do that, or they could take work provided they got paid enough for it. They would make an effort for it. So we thought, well, actually, we ought to try and find a solution to this, because it's a problem and there's an opportunity there. So we work with an accident management company and a VDA company to come up with a proposition whereby, if any of the work providers out, any of the fleets, any of the accident, whatever, have got jobs that they can't place, and we know from talking to members that I won't name any accident management companies, it's not really fair, but they get offered jobs that have been around for 4 months.
Wow.
Bouncing around in the ether, never getting placed. And what we're saying to them is, look, if you've got those cases that just aren't getting dealt with, hand them over to exceptional repair. We'll find an NBRA member, this is only for NBRA members, that can do the job. Yes, you'll pay a premium for it. And we tried to put the pricing somewhere between full retail and kind of insurance trade, commercially discounted rates. So around £45 an hour, 5% parts discount, 90% paint, really, really good terms, no bottom line discounts and all that sort of thing. And we're now starting to sort of market that to everyone and say, look, just give it a go, use it, give it a try. And we're getting sort of sprinklings in. I didn't expect tons. Some of it was around also resetting the expectation in the market that shouldn't be 25% bottom line discount. It shouldn't be 15% parts. All of those things that are killing the body shop. This is what a contract should. This is the minimum a contract should look like. £45 an hour, no discounts, no bottom line discounts. 5% parts at worst. We'll throw you a bone. That's the kind of place it should be.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's the parts thing. Parts discount for me is, apart from the courtesy car thing, the next biggest for me. I just don't understand how you've got parts, especially now even more so because it's changing. We've got, I think it was Westway and Nissan locally to us, are stopping giving accounts. They won't give counts and credit. They've even got to took the vans off now and to collect parts. No, the discounts have been cut, and so you're having to collect parts, store the parts. You're ordering parts, and half an order's coming in, so it's just got a mess, and it's costing us money. Why we even give 1% is beyond me. At the end of the day, when you employ someone to have a parts department, you shouldn't be. We shouldn't be losing anything on that, and that's something for me as a repairer, and I'm pretty sure everyone else will agree on that. That should go. There should not be any discounts on parts. It's a little benefit for us if we get 5%. That's the part that funds us having a parts department, and we're being asked to give it away. It's a real bad area for me. But there we go. That's my rant over.
We're starting to get some good debate. I love things like this. I love the debate and getting everybody engaged. you know, I definitely don't have the answers, and you know, the board don't have all the answers, but collectively, as you say, we, you know, there's enough brain power in our industry
to work it out.
deal
Yeah,
with, to deal with
I think
problems
so.
in a new way, you know, and I have to
You know
remember
what?
Mike Monaghan, some of the advice he's given us in the past.
I just, like you just said there, for me, a new way. That to me is the key. We're still stuck from history of running in this old way, and like you said, that's again. I think we both are on the same wavelength. That pulling everyone together to create a new way. That's all insurers want. Is we went back and said, oh, by the way, there's this new fantastic way that'll help you, help us, but without coming together, without all that brain power, we're not going to do it, are we? That's problem one.
No,
Philip,
but, you know, I've got to say, there's even people on our board that are super radical thinkers, you know, and you know, we looked at as an industry of sort of, you know, people that aren't necessarily that intellectual. Let me tell you, there's some plenty of intellectual firepower in our industry.
Yeah, very much so.
When we get together and when we get our heads together, you know, and I think there are lots of ideas starting to surface that I think could be enormously powerful. You know, we just need to form them, you know, shape them up a little bit more and get the backing for them as well.
Yeah, no, that'd be good. Philip Ashley says, who is the governing body or law of our industry? Who says how we conduct ourselves or what is right or wrong conduct? Very good question there, Philip. Don't think there is anyone, is there?
There's no law, no. I mean, we're the trade body, so and we do have a code of conduct. We have articles of association, which we are about to update as it happens, because you know, a lot of them were written a long time ago, and the world has changed. We're in a technological age now. The body shop industry has changed. I know we say it hasn't in some ways, but in many ways it has. And we need to reflect that sort of modern world now and how we conduct ourselves, in the public eye, how we conduct ourselves when dealing with corporate entities, because we don't want to go backwards. We don't want to be seen as, you know, muggy car sprayers, because that's not what we are.
Exactly.
So we need to have a real air of professionalism about us still.
Yep.
More so now than ever. And you know, so yeah, we're definitely not the law, but I think collectively, you know, we try to set the tone.
Very much so. And I think you just going back to what you said there, and I think I'm going to flick back to this one because Kate Goins just said, repairers are incredible entrepreneurs. That's part of the problem. The repairers adapt to the rest of the industry doesn't. And then it doesn't need to. Kate, I was just going to say that. And funny enough, I saw your post. I thought I'd put that on, because when you were saying that, I was actually going to say there's a lot of incredible people in this industry. And the reasoning is, when you are in an industry where there's not much money in it and you're struggling to make ends meet, you have to become creative. You have to become sharp thinking. And let's face it, there's a lot of, I was really shocked when I did one of the studies here to ask how long people had been in business, and most of them had been over 20 plus years. Well, in an industry where there's no bones about it, there's not much money in it, but like Kate says, the problem is they've used their brains, they've done everything they can to pull the stops out to make some money, and then it becomes there's no need to change it. That is a massive part of the problem. But I think right now, even the great people in this industry that have managed to do that, it's just gone a level too far now, hasn't it? With everything else going up, and I think we've come into a level where we know we were at the bone and we were managing to make money, but now I think we've just gone into a new era which needs to be fixed. But yeah, some great people.
Yeah. Kate is exactly right. You know, it's like giving your kids £300 pocket money a week and then being surprised they haven't gone and got a job.
Yeah.
You know, body shops fill the holes in all the time, and they adapt, and you know, but you know, Kate is another example of, you know, some of the firepower we got in the industry. Kate's had years of experience. She's dealt with it just like you have, Darren, and you know, I think we ain't far off of having a table of super thinkers that can really start doing some different stuff, you know.
Dave Sargent said that's the problem, Phil. The industry should be licensed. Ian Summers, with the current price increases, how will that affect the investment in equipment and training of it? Yeah, it's going to affect it very much so, Ian. Very much so. Philip agrees with Dave, of course. Mike's back. Dave Sargent, I begged and worked for it for years, almost got there. Still believe it's the only way forward. Okay, that's still not. Looks like that's a harder task. Philip Ashley, your wife's business has to be licensed through Phil. But what I feel is a much more skilled industry, just as Martin Rowley is ignored by the government. Pretty sure he is. Dave Punter, I am constantly confused by repairers who focus on a high turnover and give a large referral fee back. Turnover is vanity, profit is sanity, cash is king. Love that, David. If only we could get more of it. We've been onto that one. Terry Monaghan, hallelujah, spot on. Crazy in a low margin industry, very much so. But again, I think we all know that now. Perception, how do customers, work providers, suppliers perceive your body shop? So yeah, lots to talk about. Again, we tend to want to do half an hour, but there's always so much to talk about in this industry. It's crazy, and we've had a lot of people staying on for the whole time as well, which is pretty awesome. So we'll try and finish off with what is the NBRA pipeline?
Well, so we're sort of kind of writing a bit of a new manifesto, actually. You know, the world is changing. You know, body shops are polarizing a little bit in terms of their business models. So, yeah, we know we need to harness the power of the collective knowledge that sits within our membership. You know, we've got all of them members, but also we've got workshop controllers, we've got VDAs, we've got front office people, all of those people have got a lot to offer everyone else who's a member. So we want to get some steering groups together. You know, a VDA steering group feels like a really good place to start.
Yep.
You know, one of our board members has suggested a working party for Zone 99. You know, what operations should we charge for and really lobby for? We know Altex and the estimating systems. I'd imagine GT Motive does cover it, but doesn't cover everything out there. But because rates have been suppressed so long, you know, it's suddenly turned into a bit of a wild west in terms of, you know, what body shops are charging for operations wise, and it's creating loads of friction again, loads of sort of engine authorization delays and stuff like that. So work on that. Also steering groups for managers, workshop controllers. Let's surface what the best is in our industry and share it all the way across the industry, because I actually think now, you know, there isn't this high level of competition between body shops. You know, everyone realizes that if everyone moves forward, everybody moves forward in the crowd, in the herd. And, you know, but best practice. Also want to do a body shop SOS, effectively launch a bit of a program, because as we've talked about all these issues, you know, body shops are going to hit the rocks soon with all the things that are going on. Body shops are going to come into financial pressure, profitability.
I think it's going to be this week.
Yeah. Mental health. You know, somebody on this call very keen to push forward mental health. Yeah. And, you know, I thank him for sort of bringing our attention to it. Business decisions. You know, I think we've got enough experts around the industry to help the industry. Whether it be process, paint, purchasing, energy, you know, tax, anything. So I want to do a bit of that. Profitability support. We've been working on something with about 20 members where we've got a lot of electronic data from them, excluding customer data, I like to add, where we can compare and contrast things like repair costs, rates, operations per job, work mix, all that sort of thing. And already, you know, without looking too hard, we're seeing some glaring differentials. And nearly every business we look at, when you compare to best in class, there's enormous opportunity and scope to earn more money. But of course, we all work in silos a little bit. Everybody likes nobody to know what everyone is doing. And so in a totally confidential way, we're going to be helping everybody move up to what best is. With money, we'd put a brilliant technological front end on that sort of thing to make it brilliant and easy, and and everything else. But we're working on that. More meetings, additional online support, FAQs for the members area. Of course, we've got the Greener Body Shop Awards in October 20th. Everyone on this call better be there, including you, Darren, because it's going to be good fun. I think it's going to be good fun. We're going to celebrate body shops for doing some good stuff. It's also going to be fun. We'd love to do a conference next year. COVID sort of stopped us. We had some really good conferences. We want to get that going again and get everyone to go. And we can share it. I don't mind. Do you know what I mean? We share it. All the big speakers. Let's get it out there.
It's key, isn't it, to get everybody together?
Most importantly, we're going to do a Christmas NBRA pub crawl.
Pub crawl?
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Right. So, we tried to do one a while ago and it got busted because of COVID and off. But, I'd just love to get, not one of these sort of chargeable events, £200 just to go to the pub. Just come to the pub, talk,
brilliant,
share ideas, get as many people there as possible.
Definitely. Well, I think we need to. I need it. I've been trying to get together. I'm going to rebook that, I think, because, as I said to you, there's quite a lot that I've realised I probably threw it in too quickly. So I might reschedule that. But I think it's really, really important to have as many people we can together. There's a lot of people, obviously, every week we're getting people joining in with great conversation, great chats. And I believe heavily, like you do, there is a lot of great people within this industry. And, we've just touched on something there that, we know why, because there's such low margins. We're in a new time. We need new ideas. We need a new path. We need a new way. And we're not going to do that without talking. So all we can do is, together we're pushing it, trying to bring everybody together. Maybe we try collectively to get a big meeting where more and more people come in, because that is the key. And I don't care whether you break it, whether I break it, just someone's got to get people together talking to make changes. And there's a lot of good people that are still in this industry. So, I think it's time. James, by the way, has somehow sneaked into our chat via a link, but he's been desperately trying to get a few comments on the board. So I will read off James Bond. Here, isn't it time for insurance companies to maintain customer mobility 365 days a year and remove the cost burden of the claims company or repairer, so we can get back to focusing on repairing cars? Very much so. These are the last few comments. Wayne Druss says, Mason Druss says, licensing is an answer if repairers support it through the NBRA to the government. Well, obviously tonight was all about the NBRA, and I hope people are now starting to see a lot more in depth. Obviously, the big key, of course, I didn't want to ask you about pricing. If that's something you want to bring up, it's totally up to you, because that will help people to see, about joining, or whether you want them to contact you directly there, Chris. Kate Goodwin, really enjoyed this. Best practice sharing, great idea, Chris. SOS, also really necessary. Fantastic. Yeah, very much so. And I think you're going to need that this winter, Chris. So that's a good thing to come up with. Mike Monaghan, good evening all. Remember, tomorrow is a gift. Make it count. I like that. Kate again, showcase the repairer talent to the work providers. You'd be surprised what they don't know. Yes, I agree with that again, of course. And Terry Monaghan says, great point, because I really believe, I keep harking on about it, that I don't think repairers appreciate enough. It'd be nice just to let an insurer run a body shop for a month, wouldn't it? Because I think they'd then go, jeez, how have they even survived? But it's not going to happen, of course. But yeah, some great people. Again, what do you want people to do there, Chris? Do you want people to get in touch with you? Do you want to touch on pricing, how it works? Or
well, we can do. I mean, the price of membership is $9.92 a year. It's split over 12 payments. Monthly payments. If you've got that, so that's a head office. If you've got a branch, it's £350, as many of them as you like. So for the groups, it sort of waters it down a little bit. It's not mega money. I know people are charging £1,000 a month.
Yeah.
And we've kept it there for years and years. So yeah, contact
I
us.
remember the NBRA being about that years ago and stuff. So
yeah, exactly. You know, we haven't sort of gone mad with inflation, like you say.
Yeah.
But also, you know, not just that. I'd love people to join, but you know, the people that have contributed to this call and yourself, you know, let's build that network that, you know, the expertise is there and we can support people through this tough time. You know, and I'd love people to sort of just say, look, yeah, I'm happy to be involved in that. This is my area of specialism. You know, I can do this. I'm great at that.
Exactly.
It'll be super useful. We can share it all together. Doesn't matter. You know, it doesn't have to be an NBRA thing. It's just we can place it on every, you know, your site, my site. It doesn't matter. If you need help, specific help in a certain space, you know, this person can probably get you out of the worst case scenario there. So, yeah, loads to do. Never lost my enthusiasm for this. I love the industry. I love the people.
It's definitely a labour of love.
And I'm still positive, you know, still positive we can do a lot more.
I am very much so. As I said, a lot of people keep saying, oh, you know, it's been tried before. Everything's been tried before. Of course it has. This is the way the world works until somebody knocks that wall down. And if you don't try, the only thing we do know, it's on my website. Do nothing will change. And, you know, if you, well, we've got to make changes, haven't we? So we've got to keep plugging ahead. It takes people with the courage to do so. Yes, it's a big task. And I keep saying this, but back in 2001, the non-fault industry was destroyed. I have got an accident management company, and we were all absolutely horrified. Everyone thought the industry was dead. I came up with a process that was I'm not trying to be clever. It was very, very simple, in my opinion. Common sense. It worked. It worked with the insurers. It worked with repairers. And I called the insurers, and the 5 biggest at the time, or 7 biggest at the time, came to my offices, looked at what I'd got to say because it made sense when I spoke to them on the phone and gave them an introduction email. And they came to my offices. I've got little offices in Birmingham. They came and sat in here. They went through the process and said, this is fantastic, because it helped them and it helped us. They signed my contract there and then. I had the 2-year contract with them all. They went away. They ripped my idea, which I'm not bothered about because it helped the industry. But they went back and created the GTA, which was exactly what I'd just given them. So they took the idea, and I'm, if you like, I'm quite pleased with it, because they said, this is brilliant. This is going to help the industry. And it made body shops and claims companies and everybody work together for 10 years. It's just fell apart in the last 10 years. So for me, the industry is in real turmoil at the moment, because the non-fault side's really up in turmoil. The fault side's up in turmoil. Costings are through the roof. So this industry needs help big time. And I really believe, like you said, I think insurers know it. We know it. But if some of us have got to try and put it together. And I believe, like you, I'm very enthusiastic that we can. And there's enough brain power. If I'm honest, Chris, the big part, me and you have stood up. You know, it's individual repairers out there listening to this. You are key to this. You are key to us fixing this. Me and Chris can't fix it on our own. And, you know, the NBRA, you've noticed, you know, doing everything they can as a group and still struggling. Together, I'm pretty sure we can. And I really think it means togetherness. And I think we're both talking about that, Chris, in bringing it together. So I think, you know, you've done it a lot longer than I have as a sort of on your own there with the group. And you know, it's going to take us all.
It's simple in a way. You know, we're just a front to communicate the message of the industry, so that nobody in the industry gets hurt in the crossfire. But you know, the NBRA is your association. We will take instruction from our membership. If our membership wants to move in a certain way, we will do it. It's not me. It's not the board. You know, we take instruction from a bit like the Queen. We take instruction from our membership. King. You know, and the King. Yeah, we'll take instruction from you. And if the market wants to move in a certain way, we'll start to garner that kind of direction, and you know, we'll front it up so that nobody has to worry about it.
Brilliant. No, I think it's someone has just put on there that they thought it was £1,000 a month. No, Terry, it's £1,992 a year, which I've got to be honest, I think more of us should be chucking into that. Now I've realised what you do in the background with the parliaments and all that other stuff. It's hard, you know, and I think we should. I'll definitely be getting in touch with you to contribute to that, because how can we not? I'm trying to do the same job as you, and I think your job is probably, you know, in a different, not probably, it's in a different area to mine at the back. We're both trying to do the top, same thing on the top, and then you've got the background. You're doing all that, you know, heavy stuff with parliaments and doing other stuff, and I'm just trying to bring everyone together in one place, and I think that
Darren,
can help.
You know, you're here 7:30 or 8:30, wherever it is, you know, totally voluntarily trying to push the industry forward. You know, coming up with all this technology, like, I've got to take my hat off to you, right? So, you know, it's people like that, you know, with that kind of enthusiasm and that kind of passion, that's going to make a difference. Yeah, we just need to build that band of merry men and women.
That's right. I agree with that. I like that. We'll definitely be merry at Christmas on this. Fantastic. But yeah, again, anything that you want to get out there, Chris, please let me know, because obviously I'm here every week, and I'd like you to join in, you know, any other topics you ever want to come on for and discuss. I'd like to hear more from you, of course. Really enjoyed tonight to learn more about the NBRA, which is fantastic. We've had some great contribution for some great people in the industry, of course. And guys and girls, anybody out there, of course, yes, I'm talking to you. It's our industry. We have to make that difference. So please, realistically, join the website, because that's not just about problems. I also want suppliers. I'm calling on suppliers to help us as well. If you've got a new bit of machinery that I don't know about, you put it onto there. And if we're all on there, we're all going to find out about the latest technologies, the latest, you know, like you just said about methods and stuff. It's one place that we can all rely on to find out, you know, information. That's what I'm trying to build. And then obviously with what Chris is trying to do, you know, I actually still thought there was still a few, you know, bodies out there, but you're on your own, which is absolutely wow. We need to help you, to be fair. There's all body shops, and we need to give you that support as well. So guys and girls, it's down to you. We are obviously trying to pull people together. You've heard that from Chris, you've heard that from me. We know it's about bringing everyone together. Really hope that you know we all need to come together. But in that, we need to come together, because it's all right saying it and saying, yes, we need to. But like there, I'm going to pull a meeting probably at some stage in October now to give us that little bit of time. I probably did get too excited and wanted to, you know, jump together quite quickly. But me and Chris, as you've seen, are very passionate. And Chris, it might be that you come along on that, to be fair, because it is talking about the industry. And what I wanted to do was pull brains together to say, how, you know, as I said, it was going to be very open, but I want to hear from people, because there's a lot of clever people. I actually want to go, wow, that's a great idea. Now, how can we advance on that, and how can we do things? And so, yeah, I think it'll be very productive, but we've got to make that time. Whether we have it out of hours on a Saturday, I don't know, but because I'm kind of even thinking, like I said, with this, to do it on an evening, we're getting the input now, because people have realised they're out of work and they can do it on their phones. But it's already made me believe that maybe we should do a Saturday where people can actually get the time to come. Again, I'll put a poll out there to try and find out about that, because whatever we've got to do to make this happen, we've got to do to make it happen. If we do it on an evening, if we do it on a weekend, I'm happy to do that. Pretty sure you are as well, Chris, because we've got to try and... I've been talking about this since February, and we're already now coming into August, and we need a meeting. We need to start making things move, definitely. Last couple of conversations there is, Chris, this is your granddad's song. Love that. Brett Archer, keep up the good work, Chris. After seeing what you do behind the scenes, we'll be signing up. Fantastic. See, Chris, that's what I said to you the other week. Even I didn't. I'll be signing up, so hopefully you get more and more people joining up and signing up. Terry Monahan, well done, guys. Thank you, Terry. Love you joining in every week, of course. Another very experienced guy in the industry, been around a long time. Brett Archer, Darren, if you are free, the 22nd, pop over for a coffee. I'll try and do that, Brett. Fantastic. Because obviously what we're trying to do is just bring everyone together. The sooner we all get together, the better. Chris, it's been fantastic having you on.
Thank you very much.
You've got a wealth of knowledge, and what you're trying to do in the industry is commendable, of course. And I hope we achieve it somehow. And it's great to know that we're after the same thing. Guys and girls, big thank you to Chris Weeks coming on again, giving his time. And anyone out there, support your cause. There's only the NBRA now, so we need to help that, especially what they do in the background that's helping us And they're the things we don't really see. Plus I'll try and speak to you as well, Chris, because I'll probably put something on and bullet point some of the stuff we've gone over tonight to remind people of what else you do to help them on the front, not just in, because I think it's worth it just for what you're doing in the back, the background really. But it's also some good stuff you're doing.
You know what? I mean, we do get it from time to time. What do you do? If we can use this, stick it on our website, and put our members to it. It's a great update, if nothing else, isn't it?
Brilliant. Yeah, carry on. More than welcome, of course. And we'll speak again very soon, Chris. Thanks for coming on and sharing with everybody. So a massive thank you to everybody, Chris. We'll catch you in a little bit. Thanks again. It's been great to have you on. We'll catch up very soon. Guys and girls, what a fantastic evening. Obviously, Chris has been a massive inspiration there, I think. I love his thrive. I love what he wants to do in the industry. Again, I actually wanted to learn personally more about the NBRA, and because we're so busy, this is a perfect time to do it. I've learned absolutely loads, as I know a lot of people there have. We need to support people like that, and there's only one, so we need to support it. So again, although I know we're struggling with stuff, imagine being without this guy in the background doing what he's doing with the Parliament and fighting these other little causes for us, which is electrics and all the other stuff that he's been talking about. We need that help. Trust me. Imagine being without it. That's even worse. And I think the membership's worth it just for that. But then we will bullet point, because obviously there's other things that they do, debt collection, other bits and pieces that can really help you and save time and money. So yes, we'll bullet point that very shortly. It's been great to have him on the show. It'd been great to have everybody else in listening, of course. Don't forget also to go and join Crash Clinic, because that's a slightly different concept, still bringing us together in one area, but it's also where we can talk. There's an app coming out. I keep saying that, but I've just got to get time to finish it off. And that's going to be great. We can talk about sensitive issues. There's lots of groups on there, lots of different chats. So maybe next week I'll do something about the website to show everybody. It's only $39.99 a month, and that pretty much just hosts the site for us, because I'm having to pay for it all on my own at the moment. Of course, I could do with a little bit of help with that, because that's going to help us come together. And guys and girls, have a fantastic week. Keep trying to make lots of money. Keep thinking about what we can do with this industry. And of course, look out for when we pull the next meeting. Help me with the polls, because the polls really give us a lot of information that we can work from. So whether we do it on an evening or a weekend, we need to come together. Pretty sure you all agree that. And again, thanks for joining in. Have a fantastic week. Enjoy your evening. And of course, we've got the weekends quite special, with a bank holiday on Monday because of the Queen, of course, God bless her. And now we've got the King stepping in. So it's going to be a busy weekend. But a lot of people are thanking. Everyone's enjoyed it. Well done. Good night, guys. Great show. Harry Younger, first time I've joined your meeting. Great show. Fantastic. It's great to have you all in, of course. And we're going to now, because it's been a little bit longer than we anticipated. But again, thanks everybody for joining in. We'll see you next Tuesday, 7 o'clock for Crash TV. Take care. Have a great one.